All right, good morning, good afternoon, depends on where you're tuning in from. Welcome to a Facebook Live session. My name is Patrick France, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Glad to be with everybody. Hopefully you all are doing well. Today we've definitely got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot going on here. A lot of news, a lot of updates to report, a lot of updates to show. So you guys that are tuning in definitely picked a good session to be here tuning into. If you guys can hear me, if the audio is working fine for you guys, just let me know in the comments section. Let me know that you can hear everything loud and clear. Let me know where you're tuning in from as well. Today, as we saw on the announcement here, we're going to be taking a look at a global picture of the markets. Typically every single time for the last few years that we've been doing these sessions, we've been looking specifically at the US market. Well, there's been some changes coming in here at VectorVest where now anybody who signs up for the mobile or desktop automatically can get upgraded or automatically can get all the countries and databases that we track with their subscription with the same price, same cost and everything there. So today we're actually going to be taking advantage of that, looking at the markets all around the world through the mobile app, through the VectorVest Stock Advisory, and see what's going on, not just in the US, but everywhere around the world. So welcome once again. If you're new here, I know there's probably going to be a lot of new faces in here, just to give you guys a little idea of the flow that we go through. So we start to take a look at what's happening today, and then we'll dive into the other markets for the session here. We also have a sneak peek at one of the brand new features coming out with the mobile for both Android and iOS. And then as always, we save the fan favorite towards the very end where we'll show you how to analyze any stock that you're interested in utilizing the Stock Advisory app in less than 20 seconds. So if you guys enjoyed these sessions, as always, don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to hit that share button as well. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. That continues to grow this community to what it's become today. So all of that helps me out and shows me that you guys enjoy these streams. So if you haven't done so, make sure to do that already. All right. Good morning, Seth, Ryan, Sivo, Noah, Vicky. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Hopefully you guys are excited to see this. As a side note, as I mentioned earlier, we do now grant access to all the markets utilized or through the VectorVest Premium mobile subscription. If you don't have this access already, it is taking a little bit of time in the background to get everybody's accounts updated and switched over. So just be patient if you don't see it already. It will be coming very shortly to everybody. So everybody will have this access in the very near future. Just wanted to throw that out there and make sure that everybody's on the same page. Also, if you're not on the premium subscription, if you're already a subscriber but not on the premium with the mobile, click on the link in the description. You can download it, sign up for it, get started with it, or upgrade to the premium right away to see or to get access to all the tools that we'll be looking at here today. Awesome. So with that, good morning, everybody. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Let's go ahead, jump into it, take a look at what's happening in the US market, and then we'll take a look across the globe here. So as we can see right now, for the US market, we are 3 ticks into the yellow. The market is neutral. We advocate caution when buying stocks at this time. We scroll down here, we see those 3 yellow lights coming from the top row of lights in the color guard. So the price is lower day over day. RT is lower day over day. BSR is lower day over day, but still higher on a week over week basis. So week over week, we're moving higher. Day over day, slightly pulling back a little bit. MTI getting to those lofty levels in the US of 1.6 or greater, telling us that the market may be overextended, may be getting ready to pull back. So just be careful when you see this here. Then we get the trend where we can see we're in an up trend. So on a weekly basis, we're still in an up situation. And on the underlying trend of the market, we're still up as well. And then for our most conservative investors, we look at the confirmed calls. These are going to be our last signals we get to get into the market and our last signals we get to get out. As you can see, we did get a confirmed up situation as of Tuesday and remain in that situation for right now. We scroll down here, take a look at the advanced declines. As always, we like to see a 2-to-1 bias in either direction. So if the market's moving lower, we like to see twice as many stocks declining for the day than advancing. And right now we're sitting at about 34% of stocks moving higher and about 54% of stocks moving lower. Clearly not that 2-to-1 bias that we like to see. So therefore, we're probably going to use caution, err on the side of patience here. Just be patient, wait for the right opportunity to be entering into our positions here. We scroll down, take a look at the major indices. The Dow is down about 0.4%. NASDAQ's up about 0.3%, and the S&P is down about 0.2% here. Overall, the VectorVest composite, which is an arithmetic indexed average of about 8,300 stocks in the US market, we feel this gives us a better representation on what's happening in the market, is down about 0.2% as well. So I see a lot of people chiming in. Welcome everybody. Glad everybody could be here in the Derby or Jockey Club. Awesome hang. Take a look at NIO. So Bill, as always, we save the hot stocks or analyze your own stocks till the very end. So if you want to take a look at NIO, just stick around for a little bit. We'd be glad to do that here. Does the mobile only offer the DEW signal? So you can build the DEW, Daniel, in the mobile, but it's not pre-built in the mobile there. But no, I mean, you can see the confirmed up calls that we have, the confirmed calls. You can see the green light buyer RT kicker here. So you can see pretty much most of the calls or read them in the views on a nightly basis, or just simply watch the daily color guard report where we cover every single call every single night. So you stay updated as well. All right. With that, let's go ahead, jump into it. So one of the brand new features and new benefits to subscribers of the Stock Advisory app is that you now have access to all the countries that we track. So if we go to the more at the bottom, you can see that little double arrow to the right of the US flag. If we tap on that, we can see the different markets that you can now access through the mobile app. We'll start off and just work our way from top to bottom here. So we'll start off with Canada first and then move our way to the other markets as well. So if we take a look what's happening in Canada. Right now, we're 2 ticks into the green. We're somewhat bullish, and VectorVest advocates buying safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. If we scroll down a little bit, we see the price is higher day over day and week over week. The RT is flat on a day-to-day basis, but the buy-to-sell ratio is moving slightly higher than the previous day and definitely higher compared to 5 trading days earlier. MTI still has a little room to climb, up at 1.22. Up situation, and we got that confirmed up signal as of yesterday, a day after the US markets here. We scroll down, take a look at the advanced declines. Right now, we're about flat. We're about 30% of stocks moving higher and 28% of stocks moving lower. So really, no clear bias that we see with that. If we take a look at the major indices, we see the venture, which is usually more of a volatile market, lower cap stocks, more risky investments, if you will. As we can see, it's up nicely here, up over 1%, whereas the composite, the TSX composite, down about 0.1%. Those are going to be your larger cap stocks for anybody who's not familiar with the Canadian market. Overall, though, the VectorVest composite is essentially flat, only up a penny a share, but hey, markets are moving higher. We see that confirmed up. We see a lot of green lights in the color guard. Things are not looking too bad there. So we like what we see. We would like to see the advanced declines moving up a little bit more, but we'll take it for right now. Markets moving higher, definitely a good thing. More on my app. So Vince should be in the bottom right hand corner. Should be on. Well, this is also the iOS version. If you have an Android, you may have your button configuration a little differently, but essentially it should be basically the same as what you're seeing here today. Fam saying he's new here. Welcome. Glad you could be here today. Thanks for joining us. Chris is asking, what does the C mean and trend column? So the C means confirmed call, confirmed up or confirmed down. If we go into the overview, go back to the color guard, we see the C/UP, so confirmed up. If it said C/DN, you saw a red down arrow next to it, that would mean a confirmed down for that specific market. So that's what the C is in the trend column. When you have a confirmed up, that means in the trend, if you look at the day before, you see the up. That would mean it would still be in that up situation if you had that confirmed up call. If it was a down call, then you would see a down there. It would be a down situation there in the trend. But just covers it with the confirmed situation because that covers both bases there. All right, so See, market's not looking too bad in Canada. Nice steady upward trend. You have a lot of green light buyer RT kicker symbols telling us we could slowly step back into the market if you wanted to. We see the MTI picking up nicely. Today we're a little soft, but overall, market's moving in a nice steady uptrend here. If we take a look at the graph here. This is going to be something that we definitely want to do. Let me change my graph settings first and foremost. So I'll take off the earnings per share. Let's say we put RT. Actually, we'll just go with none. So that way we look at price action. Just simply price action. Keep it simple. We scrolled back. I'll just turn it sideways here. There we go. So looking at a 1 year look back, and as we can see, just like most markets across the world, we've seen a really nice, steady, consistent uptrend ever since the lows of March after the first initial pandemic wave hit, and we've seen a really nice recovery. However, we are still at a lower high. The market's been moving sideways over the last month and a half, 2 months or so, but we're still at a lower high than a previous high set right before the pandemic, or right around the end of March, or beginning of March, late February, beginning of March there. We saw the top coming in right around 23.55, and we're just about 30 cents shy of that high in the Canadian market right now. But as I was mentioning, recently, we've really seen a sideways action coming in the market here. We've seen the top of the channel right about here based off that high on the 2nd of September. And we've seen the lows really coming in here set around the 24th of September. Closing price was at $21.90, so we'll call that 22 just to make it an easy number to remember. And the highs set right around, $22.84, so we'll call that, $22.85 just to make it easy. And this is definitely, a sideways action. We're seeing it breaking out a little bit here over the last couple of days, but we really haven't had that big boost or push to get us out of this consolidation that we've noticed. So definitely seeing a little bit of hesitation, but overall still hitting higher highs, higher lows, possibly breaking out here over the last couple of days, but just something to keep an eye on, especially if you're in the Canadian market. Ed's asking how the cannabis sector is faring specifically in the Canadian market, Ed. We can definitely take a look here. Let's see. So if we go to picks, we can see it's not in one of the top 5 industries right now in the Canadian market. So, it may be doing good, but definitely not in the top 5 right now. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of the high momentum stocks. We have AHC, been on a really nice steady uptrend. HBOR, FCF. These are going to be some strong, more aggressive stocks, if you will. If we go back, we take a look at some of the safest stocks. AHC once again, but then you get Eldorado Gold. Most people are familiar with that. Really nice long-term potential with the RV of 1.72. Great safety or consistent fundamentals with an RS of 1.3. Nice timing at 1.4. So everything looks pretty good. That 1 year quick graph you can see at the top looks good as well. We get TRUL. Once again, really strong RV, good RS, nice steady uptrend. Great looking chart there. DIIB, same situation. So Vince, like I said, they are in the process of switching everybody who is already a subscriber over to the new update to where you can get all the markets. So if you don't see it, just be patient. There's a lot of subscribers that we have on the mobile. So it does take a little bit of time updating everybody, but everybody is being updated if you're already a subscriber. So just be patient, give it a little bit of time. Everybody will be updated. You'll get this access very shortly. I'm also on a beta build as well, so I get access before everybody else to check things, test it. That could be why, but yeah, you will be getting this access as well. If you're not a subscriber and you just signed up, let's say right now, then you'll automatically have these access rights or access abilities to see these other markets. But if you're not already a subscriber, or if you're already a subscriber and don't see us, just give us a little bit of time. We're updating everybody's accounts to make sure you get all this access as well. All right, so that's the Canadian market. Canadian, let's see. Irene was asking about the MTI. For the Canadian market, 1.22. So still looks pretty good there. All right, going to the next market. Let's see what we got next. Europe, taking a look at that. So with Europe, we're 3 ticks into the green as the, I believe European markets are closed now. They closed at 11 a.m. Eastern, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So they should be closed. We finished off the day with 3 green lights. You can see a lot of green lights filling the color guard. We got the confirmed up situation as of yesterday. Once again, a day before. MTI makes me a little nervous. Just seeing that 1.7 range tells us we want to be extremely careful if we're in the European markets right now. We still are in an up situation, and it's taken a while to get to that point, but we are getting those lofty levels, that overbought territory here. Looking at the advanced declines, we're sitting at 59% of stocks moving higher, 28% of stocks moving lower. So just shy of that 2-to-1 bias that we'd like to see. Well, actually, just at that 2-to-1 bias. So we could have had a good buying day potentially. But then we look at the major indices. We can see majority of them were all in the green. Only one was the BFX or the Euronext Belgium. But if we look at the VectorVest composite, this is going to be, once again, the bigger picture of the overall market here. So if we take a look at the graph, we can see we're still off of those highs that we set right around the end of February. But once again, a nice recovery. You have some sideways action, but slow grind higher, slower and slower up until just recently. You just recently had a big gap up, and the market's been rallying ever since. So if you're in the European markets, the one thing to keep an eye on is going to be the previous high set right around, let's say, the 18th of February at 77.61. As you can see, we still have some upside before we get to that level of resistance, but that is definitely going to be a key level of resistance a lot of people will be keeping an eye on. So make sure to pay attention to that, especially if you're trading international stocks or trading international markets. For you European traders, be careful of that level of resistance there. All right, so if we scroll or get back into it, let's go take a look at some of the hot stocks and also some of the safest stocks. So some of the hot stocks right now is CENER.AT. And just to put this out there, I'm not very familiar with some of these stocks, especially in these foreign markets. But so if I mispronounce any names, bear with me. I apologize in advance. Not familiar with some of these companies, but I am familiar with what to look for. So if we look at these, we can see RV of 1.5, really strong long-term potential over the next 1 to 3 years. Safety is a little lower than where it should be. So this stock does have a little bit more risk, but you can see a really nice run up here over the last few weeks, really the last month or so. Ever since about the end of September going into October, this stock has been just skyrocketing. We look at the next one, ALBIO. Once again, a lot of volatility with this one, but really strong uptrend. You have great long-term potential. About average risk involved with it. And then ALADM, nice steady uptrend, been rocking and rolling for a while. A lot of risk associated with it, so this is more of an aggressive trade, but looks pretty good so far. If we go take a look at some of the safest stocks in the European market, we can see the VBK. Great looking uptrend. RS of 1.22. RV of 1.34. Look at that timing. 1.88. Really strong uptrend. That's what you're looking for. Once you get into the stock, the RT becomes the single most important factor that you need to be aware of. When deciding what stocks to get into, RV and RS definitely come into account. But once you're into it, the RT definitely takes the cake for the most important indicator to focus on. BBED, so great long-term potential. Safety a little less than desirable there, but look at that timing. 2.0, brings a little concern for the safety factor, but overall, great looking stock, great looking trade. All right, so Looking at some of the top 5 industries, we have aerospace and defense, we have steel, transportation, machinery, and auto and trucks. All right, so that marks the European markets. Let's take a look at the UK. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Vince. Appreciate it, Conwall. And yeah, if you guys also have stocks that you want to take a look at, which we'll get into in a little bit, but when we analyze any stock that you want to take a look at, if they're in a foreign market, make sure to let me know what market they're in so that way we can switch over to make it easier for myself and you guys to get the right information. All right. So looking at the UK, 3 ticks into the green, the market is bullish. We scroll down here, see a lot of green lights hitting the color guard here. Price, RT, BSR. You can see we did get an RT kicker up symbol at the close of the day and just got it confirmed up as of today, or as of yesterday's close, I guess, at this point. Looking at the advanced declines, 53% of stocks moving higher, 26% of stocks moving lower. Well over that definitely clearing that 2-to-1 bias that we like to see. Taking a look at the major indices. So the AIM up about 1%, the FTSE up 1.35, and then the overall VectorVest composite just shy of 1% there for the session. We take a look at the graph here. There we go. Same situation that we saw with the EU. We have a nice recovery off of those lows in March, but now starting to see some of that really strong momentum we saw off of that blast off phase slowing down, where we had a really strong uptrend right through here. Now it's still an uptrend, but just a slow grind higher, and you're starting to see a little bit more volatility picking up. So you're seeing bigger swings higher and lower, and then nice blast off just recently. But once again, same as we saw before, you see a level of resistance coming in at 445, 15 pence a share, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on the VectorVest composite. So just something to keep an eye on as we get closer to that level there. All right, so let's take a look at some of the hot stocks and some of the safest stocks there. So some of the hot stocks, TWD, up 6% here. You see a really strong uptrend kicking in just recently. Good RV, good RS, really strong RT. Definitely looks like a solid winner here. WOSG, great RV, decent RS. We'll take it. Really strong timing though, and you're seeing a big push as of late. And then VLX, you see a nice, really consistent or strong uptrend and really starting to gain some momentum just recently. Have a good RV, good RS, good RT. Everything looks pretty good with this one. We take a look at some of the safest stocks. TWD, once again, taking the number 1 spot. AO.L, great long-term potential, solid fundamentals, really strong momentum. So yeah, stock's definitely favorable. Let's go ahead, take a look at the next market we got on our list. So Australia. There we go. So, unlike the US, unlike Canada, but like the European markets, Australia moving higher today, 3 ticks into the green. The market is bullish. We look at the color guard. We see a sea of green really throughout most of the last week or so. Just got the confirmed up as of yesterday. Stay in that confirmed up situation today. RT kicker up signal as of today as well. Looking at the advanced declines, basically flat though. 36% of stocks moving higher to 35% of stocks moving lower. Looking at the AORD, down about 0.5%. However, the VectorVest composite up just a little bit here. Basically break even overall though. We take a look at the graph. We can see a nice recovery so far, still well off its highs on the VectorVest composite, but a nice recovery nonetheless, where you have a consistent pattern of higher highs, higher lows. Unlike the European markets where we started noticing some sideways action just recently, we still have that consistent upward trend here. And that's exactly what we want to do. That's exactly what we want to see. However, just to be pointing that out, as always with as we've looked at the other markets, We do want to keep an eye on the all-time highs set back here around the middle or end of February. Looks like for the AU is at 372. So we still have a lot of upside potential to get to that level of resistance before we start to have to, proceed with caution. But, definitely a good positive sign if you're trading in the Australian market that you have a lot of upside still before we get to any resistance here. All right, so let's go ahead, take a look at some of the hot picks. All right, so looking at some of the hot picks, we have MAI.AX as the number one. Great RV, a little bit less than average safety with this stock. But look at that timing, 1.87. You have a really strong uptrend. Definitely looks like a good candidate to keep an eye on. DDR.AX, really great uptrend. Consistent uptrend. Strong RV, strong RS. Definitely a stock that would be a good one to keep an eye on. As always, I see a lot of people already typing in stocks. As always, folks, if you're new here, we always save the fan favorite of analyzing your stocks in less than 20 seconds to the end. So if you want to see your stocks analyzed, stick around. We'll analyze them. Just be patient. Once we get to that point, we'll analyze them for you. All right. Going back to the picks, taking a look at the safest stocks. So CIA.AX have great long-term potential. If this is one of the safest stocks with this 1.02, it definitely brings a little cause for concern that the RS is so low, but can't fight the trend, and the timing is at 1.63. Really nice, strong uptrend. Going to look at the next one, MIN.AX, 1.78 for the long-term potential. Great long-term potential. Safety, 1.29. So this one has a little bit better fundamentals and still has that great safety factor we're looking for, or that long-term potential factor we're looking for. Looking at the timing, 1.18. So it is, in a steady uptrend, not as strong as what we saw previously, though. And then DDR, great long-term potential, solid fundamentals, really nice, strong uptrend. So yeah, this stock's definitely favorable. All right. As always as well, if you guys enjoyed today's stream, because today's stream is a little bit different than anything we've ever done here. So if you guys enjoyed today's stream, don't forget, hit that like button, share it out with all your friends, family, trading groups, whatever it may be. That shows me that you guys enjoy these streams or you're enjoying today's session. And that's going to be, the deciding factor of whether we keep these up or do we, a monthly update or a monthly review, if you will, of the global markets. So as always, if you haven't already hit that like button, make sure to do so. All right, so that's the Australian market. Next, we got Hong Kong. And to be completely honest, I'm not familiar with Hong Kong market at all. So I will, just be going strictly off the data here. So with the HK, we're 2 ticks into the green. We're somewhat bullish. We advocate buying safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. We look at the color guard. We see a lot more yellow than what we've seen with a lot of the other markets we've looked at so far, but still have those green lights coming in every now and then. We also noticed we just got that confirmed up signal as of today, this morning, with the MTI moving higher, the price moving higher, RT moving higher, buy to sell ratio essentially flat, enough to give us that confirmed up situation and seeing a nice steady uptrend there. Looking at the advanced declines, essentially, it's a tie, 32.8% to 32.8%. And looking at the major indices, the HSI, the Hang Seng, down about 0.2%, where the overall VectorVest composite here is actually up about 0.75% so far. We zoom into the graph here. Unlike the other markets we've just recently looked at, we've actually surpassed that previous high set from the end of February. Actually, this one even started before that. So January 20th. So well before that February date that we noticed most international markets starting to sell off. Hong Kong hit that high on the 20th and then started seeing the sell-off. So we know the pandemic, the first wave hit. So these Hong Kong is a little bit closer to the origins. and no wonder we saw the lockdown started kicking in sooner. No wonder we saw the market starting to sell off like they did before we noticed it in other markets around the world. So the previous high was set for 414. We just surpassed that. We're still higher than that now. We've seen some sideways action over the last month or two, but definitely keep an eye on that level. Make sure that it can hold that and bounce off. It looks like it may be retesting just recently over the last few days. We zoom into a 3-month period. Yeah, we seem to be retesting that 414 level of resistance, or now a support floor, over the last couple of days. And keep an eye to see if it can get followed through tomorrow, moving it higher here. Taking a look at some of the hot stocks real quick. So in the Hong Kong market, 3709, taking the number one spot. Looking at the timing, 1.81, really strong uptrend. One thing with the Hong Kong market is that they don't have ticker symbols. They're all in, they all are number based for their ticker symbols. So not familiar with any of the companies. So we're going to be focused on hot stocks where we're looking at hot stocks. We're going to be focused primarily on the timing. 1.81, really strong uptrend. Looking at that quick graph, really nice breakout over the last couple of months. Definitely like seeing this here. 1979. Once again, same situation. RT at 1.83 this time. Timing has been picking up, went sideways, and then seeing a blast off once again over the last couple of weeks. And then 2368, you have RT of 1.73, really strong uptrend. And then looking at that, more of a consistent, steady uptrend as well. So definitely like that one. And also, folks, as a reminder, this is only part of what we're going to be talking about here today. We do have another section or another part of today's session that I'm going to be showing you a sneak peek. And I think you guys are all going to want to stick around for it. You're not going to want to miss out on it. It's a brand new feature that's going to make your lives a lot easier. So make sure to stick around, because once we get through these, we've got a lot more to cover that you're going to find extremely useful for your trading day in and day out, really. All right, so looking at some of the safest stocks, we get 0564, RS of 1.2, RT of 1.96, and then 1691, RS of 1.21, RT of 1.67. So all of these looking pretty good so far. All right, looking at the top 5 industries, a lot of ETFs really taking the top industries there. All right. And finally, last off, Singapore. Once again, another market I'm not too familiar with here, but we'll take a look at it because we're going to look at all of them here today. All right. So looking at Singapore, we're 3 ticks into the yellow. We advocate caution. Scrolling down, taking a look at the color guard. The only market that we've looked at so far that we have not been able to get a confirmed up situation from. We look at the color guard, you see some green lights, but those quickly look like they're deteriorating, with the price moving essentially flat over the last 3 days, timing slowing down, buy to sell ratio slowing down, advanced declines. Decliners definitely outpacing the advances here. Looking at the VectorVest composite, essentially flat, seeing some movement, trying to move higher, but overall really not going anywhere recently. Looking at a 1 year, we still have a lot of ground to catch back up on to get back to those all-time highs. Taking a look at the picks. Ashish, once again, you keep asking for the same stock. As always, stick around to the end. I'll analyze those stocks for you. I see a lot of people asking for Zoom. We'll analyze your stocks. Don't worry. But we save that to the end. So if you want your stocks analyzed, you got to stick around to the end. All right. So looking at the first one, FSTAS 1000. Interesting name, especially from what we've seen with some of the other markets here. Looks like it's an ETF. 1.4 when we're looking at an ETF for timing. Nice strong uptrend. DBSM 1.44. Nice strong uptrend. Seeing a pickup as of the last couple of days. 1.30. look at that. Nice steady uptrend. This would be a great swing trade, long-term trade, whatever you want to do. Great looking trade there. And then HPHT. So nice steady long-term potential. A little bit more risk, but nice steady uptrend nonetheless. All right, we go take a look, go back. Look at the safest stocks, see if there's anything that looks different here. Taking a second to load. There we go. All right, so IFAS, looking at the safety, 1.16. Definitely safer than the average stock in the database, so definitely a good one to look at. CATL, the safety is a little less than desirable if you're looking for a high safety stock. Same with this one. So we're noticing the safeties on some of these stocks are a little less than what we've noticed with other stocks across the globe. Just something to keep an eye on, especially if you're trading in the Singapore market. Keep an eye on safety, especially if you want a little bit more consistency with your stocks. Definitely something to look at, though. All right. So we've got that. Taking a look at the hot industries, mainly ETFs, utilities. We got consumer discretionaries as well. And also we got financials leading the charge in the Singapore markets. All right. So now that we've covered all the markets, let's go back to the US. And the last thing I want to highlight here today, one of the brand new features that is coming out that's going to make your guys' lives a lot easier is the ability for alerts. You guys have been asking for them for a long time, and we're proud to finally bring them out to you guys. They're going to be both for iOS and Android, so everybody should have access to these very, very soon. But this is going to be more of a sneak peek. We'll go into one of our Facebook watch lists that we've created. And as you can see, top stock EMPH. We'll use this here, and if you notice, there is now a brand new icon right next to the price action here. That is the new alert icon. You go in here, it gives you the ability to set up an alert. So this is something you definitely want to have your notifications turned on for. We go set up a notification or an alert for it. We can use the plus or minus arrows to the at the top. And if the price or if the number there is below the current price of the stock, it'll say alert when crosses below. But if you go above, we'll just go ahead and move that up. As you can see, as we crossed above the current price, it now says crossed above. So these will now send you an alert. Let's just say 55. Actually, let's go 50. Oh. Set that down a little bit. There we go. Create the alert. And now we've got the alert set. So this will help you now, if you're on the go or at work, whatever it may be, you can now see I would have gotten the alert, but I have my notifications or I have do not disturb turned on my phone, but you would see the notification pop up on the top just like you do with any other notification you get to your phone. You tap on it, it'll tell you it's crossed below that level that you set. You can go view the details so you can quickly get the information you're looking for on those stocks. And if you want to go back, you can keep a list of them in the recent alerts where you can see, you can set it to move higher, lower, whatever it may be. So this is a great way. Is if you watch the daily color guard report every single night, we talk about buy stop limit orders, setting it higher than the previous day's high. Well, now with the mobile app, you can actually get that update or you can get that alert letting you know that stock has been moving higher. So if you don't set a buy stop limit order with your broker, you can get the alert so you can go in and purchase that stock when it's moving higher without having to set up the actual buy stop limit order. On the inverse, if the market's moving lower, if you're worried, especially, the market's been hitting new highs, there's a fear of a second wave coming into across the globe, really. If you're worried about your positions, because you have some really good gains over the last 6 months, well, you can now take advantage of these alerts, set it up to where, you're line in the sand. As we talk about when we talk about stop loss, stop criteria, you can set it up to notify you if it crosses below whatever your line in the sand may be. This is the great thing about it. Everybody is different. Everybody's line in the sand may be a little bit different. So you can customize it and set it up to fit exactly what you're looking for. So that way you get notified if you're at work, on the go, whatever it may be, without having to watch your stocks constantly. This will automatically alert you and let you know that your price has been met and it's time to either cut your loss or the stock is moving higher. It is higher than the previous day's close. So that's your buy stop limit order. It's moving higher at that point of entry. And you can use that to jump on board or get into a stock. So this is brand new. It's going to be a great feature. We're going to be adding a lot more capabilities to this. But, for just basic essentials of getting in, getting out, on looking at a stock that you're interested in, this is going to be the simplest, easiest thing you could possibly get to keep up to date with what's going on in the market, or keep up to date with what's going on with your positions, without getting caught off guard or, coming in and checking your positions once or twice a day and realizing, something drastic has happened. Alerts only for price. So Bob, right now alerts are only for the price, just for mobile. Give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second. I'll show you all the updates for right now that's coming. All right. So for premium, unlimited price alerts on any stock. You can see the recent alerts in the app, as we talked about a moment ago. You can also get trade now order updates. You can do, if you have desktop, you can now get Portfolio Genius trade alerts or notifications, Robo Trader orders and recommendation updates, and also Watchdog alerts. So if you're a desktop subscriber, you're definitely going to get a lot more features with it because there's different alerts built into the desktop. But if you're just on mobile, yes, you will get price alerts as of right now. Next time, munching stock. So not sure. All right. All right, so trying to get caught up with some of those comments as well. But yeah, so hopefully you guys find this as powerful as I do, because I know I will definitely be using this a lot as I've been testing it. It is great. It is phenomenal if you're on the go. So that way you don't have to constantly sit there and watch your portfolio all day long. That's what we talk about week in and week out. This is what we're here for, is to help you reduce the time it takes to manage your portfolio. Well, if you can just set up your alert to notify you, hey, it's time to manage it, this will instantly save you countless hours of having to stare at a screen or watch a stock or worrying about what's happening throughout the day if you're not watching a stock. So this is going to be a huge benefit to everybody at no additional cost, and everybody will get access to this. Are the U.S. markets on the rise? So U.S. markets, let's see. Actually, you can see that right above me. U.S. markets are not on the rise. So right now, all the major U.S. indices are in the red. Alerts are just now being rolled out. So, Bill, for these type of alerts, yes, in the mobile, and there's going to be some new alert features you can use in the desktop as well. We're planning on expanding them out, but we wanted to give you guys access to one of the most commonly asked for, and then we'll start to expand these alerts to other areas as well. Once again, alerts are going to be a great tool to be able to use to help manage your portfolio more efficiently, not wasting a lot of time staring at a screen all day long, and be able to take advantage of these trades very, very quickly. Also, alerts are across the board for all markets. So, it's not just US, all markets are having the ability to set these alerts now. All right, that was a lot to cover. Usually we're wrapping it up by now, so I appreciate everyone who's stuck around till this point. I greatly appreciate all the support. If you guys like these alerts, if you guys like today's session, as always, don't forget to hit that like button. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. If you're in trading groups on Facebook, share it to those. Or, share it to friends, family through email, other social networks, whatever it may be. Get this note or get this information out there to help others become financially independent. That's our goal here every single Thursday. All right. So with that, let's get into the fan favorite, where we'll analyze any stock that you want to take a look at. And I know we've had a lot of stocks coming in. We'll start off with Zoom since I've seen a lot of people consistently asking about that one. So Bill, right now for the mobile, just to quickly answer your question, it shows the top 5 industries in the mobile. The industry and sector viewers like you're used to with the desktop, not going to be that way for right now, but you do have the top 5 industries that we've added into the mobile so you can see those at any given time. All right. So with that, let's go ahead. Take a look, starting off with Zoom as our very first one. So with Zoom, you have great long-term potential, about average risk associated with it. Timing is a little less than desired. 1.03 tells us the stock is essentially flat right now. Overall, the stock's favorable, but if we look at it here, let's go zoom into a 3-month basis. When all of a sudden you started noticing price action was hitting lower highs and lower lows, that uptrend was starting to dissipate. Definitely giving us cause for concern here. Somebody was asking, should I sell it now? That answer can't be answered by me. That should be answered by you, and you should know that answer before you ever get into the stock. As we talk about week in and week out, know your exit strategy before you ever enter the stock. What does your stop criteria say? What does your money management rules say? That will tell you whether or not you should still be in this stock or not. Now, if you followed it, then you already know that answer. So most likely you didn't already follow that stop, or you didn't already follow that money management rules that you'd set in place. That tells me we need to stay more disciplined and take this as a learning opportunity to make sure that you implement your strategy more stringently to your trading plan. Because what I say, what somebody else on here says, doesn't matter. It's what your trading plan is. What are your rules set for your stop criteria, and has that been met? If the answer is yes, then you know the answer to your question. If the answer is no, then you're still holding into it. So hopefully that answers your question. And that's going to be the best answer I can possibly give without getting into a whole lot of specific details for each individual person here. So that's my guidance on Zoom. You're seeing lower highs, lower lows by definition, putting it in a downtrend or on a short-term downtrend. So be extremely careful with that. And yeah, that's where we're going to leave it at with Zoom. All right, let's see. BXRT. So not finding that. Did I misspell it? Oh, VXRT. Okay. There we go, Jay. Hopefully you're doing well today. All right. So VXRT, definitely a speculative play. No surprise about that. Timing is at 0.65. So for a swing trade, short-term trade, definitely not in this one right now. If you're a day trader, it's up 17%. It has some movement going on. Could be one you'd be trading right now. But as a swing trade, anything more than a day trade right now, probably going to be staying away from this one. All right, let's see. ASG. ASG is an ETF, so the main focus is going to be timing at 1.09. It isn't an uptrend, but we would like to see that at 1.1 or higher. 1.09, you're definitely paying attention to it, definitely erring on the side of caution, and keeping a close eye on it to make sure that you cut your loss quickly, or make sure it's starting to turn back around. XOM. All right, so with XOM, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk with this stock, and timing is telling us it's in a downtrend. So therefore, stock's not favorable right now. CVS. CVS, great long-term potential, but does have a little bit more risk associated with it. You're in a nice steady uptrend, so therefore, stock's still favorable. LAC. LAC, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with this stock. Timing is below 1, telling us it's in a steady decline. Therefore, stock's definitely not favorable right now. JMIA, haven't seen that symbol in a while. JMIA, definitely a speculative trade. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. See a lot of volatility moving it higher and lower, but overall on a short-term basis, the stock is essentially flat, therefore making the stock not worth it right now. All right, EHTH. There we go. EHTH, great long-term potential, less risk associated with the stock, but timing not there. So once you own the stock, once again, timing is the most important aspect you need to be aware of. Overall, the stock's favorable, but we need to wait for timing to pick back up before we get in. NVCR, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, but you do have a strong uptrend right now, making the stock favorable overall. TTD, there we go. Poor long-term potential, but solid fundamentals, consistent fundamentals with the RS above 1. Timing at 1.66, really strong uptrend. So yeah, the stock's still favorable for right now. GRWG. This is the one that Steve Chappell was actually talking to me a few days ago about, Jay. So it's interesting to see you bringing it up here. All right, so GRWG, great long-term potential, but does have a little bit of risk still with it. Timing at 1.63, really strong uptrend. So yeah, the stock's definitely favorable still. Workhorse, WRKS. Actually, don't know the symbol. That's fine. Just start typing in the name of the company. And there you go. So Workhorse, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with this stock. Timing is at below 1, telling us it's in a decline. Therefore, the stock is not favorable right now. CODX. CODX, great long-term potential, but does have a little bit more risk associated with it. You're in a really strong uptrend, so yeah, stock's still favorable right now. All right, let's see. NIO. Yeah, a lot of people have been requesting NIO. So we'll take a look. NIO has poor long-term potential. It does have a lot of risk, telling us that this is still considered a speculative trade. And still until the fundamentals start actually backing up the current run that we've seen with this stock, it is still going to be a speculative trade. Now, speculation can be right and wrong. So you can speculate that this stock does have that potential, and obviously people are making that bet right now. But until the fundamentals actually match up, it's still going to be a speculation that you're betting this stock is going to meet the numbers they're looking for. So therefore, because of that speculative bet, you have a lot of big money pumping it up right now. Timing at 1.87, really strong uptrend. Just be careful if you're in it. Nothing ever goes up forever. Just keep that in mind. Let's see. What is the bell icon next to the price? Asif. So that is the new alert feature that we just talked about. You can go back and watch a replay, or just zoom or scroll back a little bit and see how exactly you can set that up there. Let's see. Fastly, FAS. FAS. There we go. So poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. It's in a steady decline. Overall, stock's definitely not favorable right now. EXROF, definitely take a look at that one. So this is definitely a speculative trade. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. Timing 1.23, it isn't a steady uptrend, but typically with these speculative trades, you like to see the timing at 1.4 or greater. Overall, stock's not favorable because that timing isn't strong enough to offset the risk that's associated with it currently. We get one from the TSX, so we'll go ahead, switch it over to Canada real quick. And AT. So with AT, great long-term or good long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock. You have a really nice strong uptrend. Overall, stock's definitely favorable. Switching back to the US, you can see how easy it is to switch between markets now. I love that new feature, and I hope you guys are taking advantage of it as well. or will start to take advantage of it as well. All right, so REGI, great long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock. It's been in a really strong uptrend recently. So yeah, this stock is still definitely favorable. BOTZ. So it looks like this is going to be an ETF. Therefore, your main focus is going to be the timing. 1.25, consistent, steady uptrend. So yeah, stock or ETF is definitely favorable here. Bloom Energy, Bloom BE, speculative, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. Timing at 1.09, not strong enough to take on that risk, so therefore, stock's definitely unfavorable currently. MGNI, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, but on the short-term basis, you have some strong momentum moving it higher. Therefore, the stock's favorable currently. Apple, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. Timing is a little less than desirable. Overall, the stock's favorable, but if you're looking to get in, or if you're not already in, or if you're already into it, keep an eye on that timing. That timing is definitely a little bit of a cause for concern right now. VSQTF. Not finding that there. Who was that? Let's see. Jose, let me know what market that's in. We can switch it if need be. All right, so COF, speculative. Poor long-term potential. A lot of risk associated with it. You have a really nice, strong uptrend, though, making it worth it if you're a speculative trader. TLRY. And we'll do a couple of more here for today. So Tilray, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with this stock. Timing is still below 1, telling us it's in a steady decline. Therefore, still not favorable right now. All right, let's see. Enphase, ENPH. Enphase, great long-term potential, less risk associated with this stock. You still have a really strong short-term uptrend. Therefore, the stock's still favorable. What app? So Gatina's asking, what app can we use to buy stocks outside of the US? That's really not going to be an app. That's going to be more of a broker feature. One that comes to mind right off the top of my head, the one I can think of first is going to be Interactive. Interactive Brokers, because they do offer, they're all across the globe, and they have access to every market that I'm aware of. So if you have Interactive, I believe you can trade outside of the US as well. But it really depends on the broker that you're using and what features they have, and you'd have to ask them. Interactive is just the only one I can think of off the top of my head. There's probably going to be a lot more, but that's going to be the one I can think of instantly. All right. SID. All right, we'll do the last three here. So SID, good long-term potential, but does have a lot of risk associated with it. Really strong uptrend, so stock's still favorable. And then DF, great long-term potential, but does have a little bit more risk associated with it. Really strong uptrend, so yeah, stock's still favorable right now. And last but not least, we'll go back into the Canadian market. Tap on that little magnifying glass, and VSQTF. So I'm not finding it in here either, Jose. So if it's not in the system, that's fine. You can always just send us an email with this symbol. We can add it in there, but I'm not seeing that one in the Canadian market. So if it's not in the database, just give our support a call or send us an email, and we can get it added for you instantly. All right, so moving back to the US, just to quickly recap here. Still 3 ticks into the yellow. The market is neutral. VectorVest advocates caution when buying any stocks at this time. Price, RT, and BSR all flat, all lower day over day, but still higher week over week. MTI, once again, getting in those lofty levels that makes us a little bit hesitant here. Looking at the advanced declines, 33% of stocks moving higher, 56% of stocks moving lower. Not that 2-to-1 bias, but still definitely a cause for concern here today. Overall, VectorVest composite down about 1/3%. So once again, folks, thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's session where we looked at international markets all across the world, looked at the new alerts features. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did, don't forget, hit that like button, hit that share button. All of that helps me out and lets me know that you guys enjoyed that topic, because if I get a lot of responses from you guys that you guys like this session, if you guys like what we're talking about, or like, the concept of this, we can definitely continue to do this in the future. So if you guys enjoyed that, make sure hit that like button, hit that share button. All of that lets me know you guys like what we're or like these kind of sessions here. So on that note, I appreciate everybody, especially if you've been here since we first started an hour ago. I appreciate you all sticking around. Hope you all have a great rest of your trading day. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now, everybody. Take care.
Yeah.